What is up, everybody? This is Nick Fiore of FioriousNation right here on the YouTube. This is Forbidden Podcast episode 34. It is today, Friday, July the 24th of 2026. I am one half of the Forbidden Podcast, Nick Fiore of FioriousNation. And we got Scripps in the comment section already. Hey, Furious. What's up, Scripps? Make sure you hit that like on the video. It helps in the YouTube algorithm. Make sure you go do that. Make sure you share the stream out. So it's happy Friday, July 24th of 2026. As you may see, it's just me right here. Unfortunately, minutes before we went live here, Adam Carl just DM'd me several minutes ago. It was actually about 9:45, close to there, before we went live for this episode today. He unfortunately can't make episode 34 today. He'll be back next week for episode 35. Personal family reasons, he can't make today's episode, but he'll be back. Adam Carl will be back next week for episode 35, which should be Thursday/Friday of next week, as we head towards the end of August, the end of July, going into August. Sorry. I don't know why I said end of August, but soon will be the end of August before you know it. And we're into most of the summer so far. It's almost August. Next week, Adam Carl will be back for episode 35. We'll close up the month of July strong. We're going right into August and going into next week for SummerSlam weekend. So most likely next week, episode 35 will be a preview and predictions video, most likely for SummerSlam for episode 35 next week. So look out for that. It should be a very interesting discussion for that. At least me, Adam Carl, I know I was just thinking maybe like a round table, but I don't know, maybe for WrestleMania next year. But since getting close to SummerSlam, I'm not so sure. But at least me and Adam Carl for next week for episode 35 preview predictions for SummerSlam coming up in Minneapolis at US Bank Stadium. Before we begin all the good stuff, hit the like and all the stuff, I do actually want to say something here. And realizing this, a year ago, this happened, that we lost the legend in Hulk Hogan. So I just want to say, with a 10-second salute, with a year since Hulk Hogan sadly passed away on this day, a year ago, unfortunately. A year ago, sadly, Hulk Hogan passed away, and it still doesn't feel real. And a year later, it still does not feel real. He would be the last person you think would pass away, and no longer with us is Hulk Hogan, Terry Bollea. Just thinking of Hulk Hogan's fans and his family, everyone affected by Hulk Hogan, and how he just touched everyone's hearts and everyone. I know he was not, I know he was a big politician back in the wrestling days and stuff, but I just want to send out my love and my condolences, prayers, thoughts to Hulk Hogan's family and every Hulk Hogan fan and everyone that was touched by Hogan and everyone that loved him. So just want to throw that out there, and thinking of Hulk Hogan today and a year ago that he sadly passed away. So I thought I'd add that in here and stuff. I thought it would be only right to do it right here for episode 34. So thank you guys so much for understanding and appreciating and appreciative in that. And thank you for understanding. Thank you. And before now we begin to the nitty gritty, first things first. Oh, in Scripps, man, I shared your stream and hit the like on both channels. Thank you so much, Scripps. You are the man. I appreciate it very much. So, right there. So just like what Scripps did, make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for all notifications so that way you know when this guy and Adam Carl go live every week for Forbidden Podcast. So make sure you go do all that good stuff. It helps a lot, and not only the channel, but helps in the YouTube algorithm as well. So make sure you go do that. Also, not only hit the like and subscribe and all, follow me on X at FioriNick579. You don't see it here on the bottom left, bottom right screen, as you can see. But follow me on X at FioriNick579 over on X. Give me a follow on X. Facebook, Nicholas Fiore 31. You can add me as a friend if you like. That's optional as well. TikTok. I do have a TikTok, though I don't use it at this time, but I do have a TikTok. TikTok at FioriousNation over on TikTok. So that as well. And then last but certainly not least, Instagram at Nicholas Fiore 2014. Again, Nicholas Fiore 2014 over on Instagram. And there are some stuff to talk about. We're also going to sprinkle in some AEW Redemption preview and predictions as well. I actually will not be watching Saturday for the $50 being charged. And with the terrible go-home show we had 2 nights ago on Wednesday Night Dynamite, and just the overall build to Redemption, it feels like a glorified Dynamite on a Sunday. And I will not be wasting my $50 on that. So I'm just throwing that out there. And I don't think you could blame me because AEW, it just sucks. Wrestling in 2026 is not good. And the same thing with WWE. It's not just AEW. Both big major companies, WWE and AEW, they both suck right now so far in 2026. And we're in the first, we maybe got done with the first half of the year. Now we're in the second half. I feel like both companies really suck big time right now in 2026, just like last year, and maybe worse this year than last year, in my opinion. Like, there's just no excitement, nothing to sink your teeth into. It's rehash, rinse, and repeat. And it just like no company seems to care right now. There's no effort. There's no excitement, nothing. And I hate feeling that like that because I wish there was excitement, but there is none. And that is a big problem all across the board. But we got preview predictions for AEW Redemption taking place this Sunday in Montreal. We actually might as well start with that while we're talking about AEW right here on the channel. I'm actually going to pull up the card for AEW Redemption. Here we go. So Redemption looks like this over. We have 10 matches. I'm sure there'll be more added to the pre-show and maybe 1 or 2 on the main show. But so far as 10 matches on Redemption, we have Thekla versus Willow Nightingale for the AEW Women's World Championship. I have a feeling they're going to go with Willow winning the championship because I believe Tony wants to do Mercedes Moné and Willow Nightingale for the Women's Championship at All In Wembley. I think that's what Tony's going for because he's a mark, but I think Thekla should deserve to go into Wembley as champion. But sadly, I don't think Tony Khan's going to do that. I think he's going to put it on Willow just to give it to Mercedes. So you're pretty much hot potatoing your women's world title. That's one of my biggest pet peeves with wrestling is hot potatoing your championships. It devalues the prestige of it devalues the title and the prestige of the title. And I don't like that. So pretty much hot potatoing the championship here for what it looks like to me. Just crowning Willow the women's champion only to drop it a month later to Mercedes. I don't like that. I think Thekla deserves to go into Wembley Stadium as women's champion. And she's actually been one of the bright spots on Dynamite. And she's been growing on me a lot lately. And her reign as women's champion has not been actually that bad. It's actually been pretty decent, to be honest with you. And I'm liking the work that Thekla's doing as of late. I think Thekla's awesome. But I would like for Thekla to win, but who do I think wins? I think Willow. I think Willow Nightingale wins, and I think she wins the Women's Championship. And I think Willow goes into All In at Wembley Stadium as the women's champion to defend against Mercedes Moné, who won this year's Owen Cup for the women. So I think Willa wins, and I think we get a new women's champion on Sunday. Next match, we got Mark Davis defending the AEW National Championship against former Don Calcifermi member Andrade. How you know? Which, by the way, I'm liking what Andrade's doing with that lately. And ever since he's been out of the Don Callis family, he's been actually doing pretty damn well for himself. So I'm happy to see that. And I'm happy to see Andrade do well. And Andrade out of the Don Callis family was the best thing to ever happen to him. He was going nowheres in that group. And now look at him out of the group. And he's a lot better off now for it. Who do I think wins this? I would like to see Andrade win. I would love to see Andrade get his break and win the AEW National Championship. I think he deserves it. So I'm going Andrade on the board. Now, I'm just thinking this. And Zelina Vega and the WWE releases from the SmackDown on the Friday after in WrestleMania this year, those releases are, as of yesterday, free agents like Aleister Black, Zelina Vega, Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley, the Wyatt Six, Zoe Stark, now going by Zoe Serrano, I think, on the Indies now. But anyways, and the New Day, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, and Jeff Cobb, Jason Mateo, Tonga Loa. They're all pretty much free agents right now. They're all free agents as of yesterday. So this is what I'm thinking, and I just thought of this now. What if Andrade wins the national title, but maybe we see Zelina Vega, who's now going by the indie name Zelina, spelled Xelina. Xelina. I think that's how I pronounce it correctly. If it's not how, put down in the comment section to pronounce it correctly. I hope I pronounce it correctly. But what if we see Zelina Vega this Sunday at Redemption, now that she's a free agent, and she helps Andrade win the national championship? And I would absolutely, and if Tony Khan plans, and if Tony Khan is thinking in the back of his mind, and if he wants to bring in Zelina Vega to AEW, I would absolutely pair her with Andrade and really the black and gold days in AEW. That's what I would absolutely do if that is the plan. Because Zelina Vega is really going to go nowhere on her own. And Andrade's great, but he really lacks on the mic. I mean, he's gotten a little bit better with English lately, but I think we could all agree. I think he's still better off, though. Even though he's gotten better with English lately, I think he's still better with a mouthpiece, to be honest. So maybe bringing in Zelina Vega into AEW, if that's what Tony wants to do, if that's the plan, if he wants to bring her in, if he has any interest at all bringing her in, pair with Andrade, I'd like that. So I'm going with Andrade winning the national championship. I think it makes sense. I think it's his time. So I'm going Andrade on the board. We got the other matches on the show. The Painmaker, they're calling him. Chris Jericho versus Tommaso Ciampa. No holds barred. Look, I like Chris Jericho, and I like Tommaso Ciampa. I think both guys are great. But can we please end this feud? The way Tony's booked this, I'm over this feud. Jericho calling Tommaso Ciampa Tommy, and all this cringe shit on Collision. Honestly, bro, and I'm sure Adam Carl, if he was here, he'd agree. I'm over the Tommaso Ciampa Chris Jericho feud. I wish they would just end this at Redemption and move both guys on to something else a lot more meaningful. I think Chris Jericho wins this. I don't think this is the last. I think that they fight again at All In. I hope not, but I hope this is the end of the feud. Do I think it will be? No, I think they wrestle All In and we continue this feud, unfortunately. I think it should be a good match, but I think Jericho wins this. I don't know what you guys think, but I'm going Jericho on the board. Next match, AEW International Championship match. Kyle Fletcher defends against Bandito now, and that says everyone is banned from ringside. Now, they gave this match away during a tag team match this past Wednesday on Dynamite 2 nights ago. Bro Dito versus Kyle Fletcher, and I'm trying to think of the other one. I mean, it was that irrelevant of a Dynamite. And the match was a waste because you gave some of your match away for free on television this past Wednesday. And Bandito pinned the champion Kyle Fletcher. Oh, it was Okada. Okada and Kyle Fletcher. They lost to Bandito this past Wednesday on Dynamite, and Bandito pinned the international champion Kyle Fletcher. Another one of my biggest pet peeves: champions losing clean in a non-title match. Champions should never lose clean in a non-title affair unless the title's on the line. Having your champion Kyle Fletcher being pinned clean on Dynamite by Bandito, I have a problem with that for a couple reasons. One, it makes your champion look weak going into Sunday, number one. And number two, now you give people the vibe. Now this match is predictable that Bandito pinned the champion on Wednesday. Now he's definitely not winning on Sunday. And I'm going to go Kyle Fletcher winning. And I don't think he should lose anytime soon. But, I mean, the match should be good. Kyle Fletcher's great. Bandito's great. But the way they've done this build for this match, they've done it no favors whatsoever. And now I don't care more for the match than I did, but now I care much less about it. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Kyle Fletcher's a very good wrestler. Same thing with Bandito. Bandito is one of the best luchadors that Tony Khan has in his current AEW roster. But the fact that you gave this match away pretty much for free on Wednesday, I hate that. I really do. So with all that being said, I'm going Kyle Fletcher to retain. And there's really no reason at all right now to take the title off Kyle Fletcher. None. As much as I love Bandito, I think the right move is Fletcher retaining. We got Scripps in the chat. How can you tell the difference between a no-holds-barred match and a regular AEW match? Well, you do have a very good point, because sometimes I do spots with wrestlers having the opponent sit on the chair while doing the running move on them on the outside, even though it's a no DQ match. I see what you're saying, and dropping their heads on the apron in AEW matches, and yeah, I see what you're saying there, Scripps, and you're not wrong. So, but Kyle Fletcher and Bandito, I'm going Kyle Fletcher. Next match. I got one match I have a problem with. The Death Riders, Jon Moxley and Will Ospreay, who's challenging for the world title at All In against Kenny Omega. Don't bullshit yourself. Kevin Knight's not winning the championship on Sunday against Omega. If you think he is, you're an idiot. Death Riders, Jon Moxley and Will Ospreay versus the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. The old-fashioned, can they coexist? With Jon Moxley and Will Ospreay. 1 week, the Death Riders want to be faces. Next week, they want to be heels. Do the Death Riders even know what they want to fucking be? And now we have this match of can they coexist with Ospreay and Moxley. Why? Can someone please explain to me how this makes any sense? I'll tell you, it doesn't. Will Ospreay's challenging for the world title next month at All In. Why is he in this nonsensical waste of time tag team match on the pay-per-view on Sunday? I don't get it. I don't. Moxley and Ospreay, I think they win. And honestly, they should win. So I'm not going to waste too much time on that. The less time I talk about this, the better. Other matches on the show. AEW World Tag Team Championship match between Cope and Cage. It's Adam Copeland, a.k.a. Edge, and Christian Cage. They defend their World Tag Team titles against the Death Riders, Claudio Castagnoli and Pac. Why was this, by the way, not on Dynamite not long ago? And we got Wheeler Useless and Danny Garcia a few weeks ago on Dynamite, challenging Cope and Cage for the AEW World Tag Team titles. And like Adam Carl and I said not long ago here on this channel, Tony Khan, do not ever book Wheeler Useless and Danny Garcia in a World Tag Team title match in AEW ever again. They are the punching bags of the Death Riders. That all they do is lose, 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 and lose. I couldn't tell you the last time they won a fucking match that was actually meaningful. And here they are getting a World Tag Team title match a few weeks ago against Cope and Cage. For what? For what? They are the fucking punching bags, the losers of the Death Riders. Now they get a title match. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Why was this Claudio and Pac versus Cope and Cage? Why was this not a few weeks ago? Why was this not on Dynamite a few weeks ago? But we got Cope and Cage versus Wheeler Yusis and Danny Garcia. Why? Why? Are we handing out title shots now? Like, are we handing out title shots now like they're fucking candy? Like, what happened to earning a title shot? Because the way I see it, it should be win matches, win X amount of matches, you earn a title shot. But no, we have people lose, 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 and lose, and up, title match. Huh? This fucking company, man. The logic of this company is out the fucking window. It's sad. It's sad. I am going Cope and Cage to win this. I think Cope and Cage retain, and I think they're going to Wembley as World Tag Team Champions. And honestly, I think that's the right move. Nobody wants to see the Death Riders so much on TV. As much as I love Claudio and Pac, nobody wants to see the Death Riders much on TV. And Cope and Cage should win this thing. So I'm going Cope and Cage to retain. Looking at the card as well. The 4 more matches to talk about. And actually before Mitch says, what's up, Nick? What's up, Mitch? The other matches we got on the show, we got an AEW TBS championship match between Hikaru Shida and Maya World. Really like Maya World. She had a very good showing with the Owen Cup against Mercedes. Mercedes brought her to her best match. That was a very good match. I would think it was Forbidden Door. Yeah, Forbidden Door. So Forbidden Door, the women's Owen Cup final between Maya World and Mercedes Moné. That match was very good. Now she wrestles like Hikaru Shida for the AEW TBS title. I think Maya World should win this. Do I think she wins? No. I think I'm going Hikaru Shida, though, to win this for some reason. I don't know why. I have a feeling they're going to have somehow, some way, have Shida retain here. I hope I'm wrong, but I think Maya World should win the TBS title, in my opinion. So, next match, we got a double chain tag match between the Bang Bang Gang of Jay White and Juice Robinson versus the Dogs of David Finlay and Clark Connors. Hold on a sec. Just that alone gets more of a reaction and attention than anything involving the fucking Dogs of David Finlay and Clark Connors. The less I talk about this shit, the better. The better. I'm going Bang Bang Gang. And yeah, moving on. Moving on. Next match, we got a 6-way ladder match to determine the number 1 contender. Oh. Got scripts in the chat as well. Is this supposed to be a dog collar match or something? I would assume, but that's a very good question, Scripts. A double chain tag match. It probably is a dog collar match, but I just don't care for the Dogs against the Bang Bang Gang, dude. I just don't. I just don't. But where was I? The six-way ladder match for the number 1 contendership for the International Championship. We got Jack Perry versus the Beast Mortos versus Commander versus Speedball Mike Bayley versus Nick Wayne versus El Clan. So 3-6 of these people in this match, all luchas. Has Tony Khan reactivated his rental lucha? Has Tony Khan has Tony Khan reactivated his fetish for these luchas? El Clan, Commander, and the Beast Mortos. And a ladder match to determine the number one contender for the AEW International Championship. I don't get it, man. I don't. I'll tell you what, though. The Beast Mortos is not winning. Commander's not winning. El Clan certainly ain't winning. That's for damn sure. Nick Wayne is not winning. He has a better chance of getting a date with Jennifer Aniston than winning this fucking ladder match. Give me a break. And then we got Speedball Mike Bayley and Jack Perry. I'm going Jack Perry. I'm going Jack Perry wins this ladder match. I think we get Jack Perry and Kyle Fletcher for the International Championship at All In. I think that's what they probably do here. But yeah, I'm going Jack Perry on the board. Speaking of which, his girlfriend Anna Jay is staying with AEW. It looks like she signed a new deal according, I think it's with Fightful. I think according to Fightful, let me pull this up. Just don't want to be misconstrued. Let me pull this up. According to, let me see here. Let me see. It should be like, I think it's like Fightful. Yeah. It says that Tony Khan says that Anna Jay, well, it was on the conference call for AEW Redemption the Sunday from Thursday a day ago with Tony Khan on the conference calls. Tony Khan apparently said that Anna Jay has extended her contract with AEW, and she's currently going for MRI because she's going for MRI soon because she's currently unfortunately injured. So looks like Anna Jay is there to stay. I was hoping she jumped ship, but she's staying. And honestly, I think it's better off she just jump ship to WWE. She's not going to do a damn thing in AEW. I just hope Tony Khan has plans for her, but do I trust Tony Khan with that? Fuck no. I don't trust Tony Khan with anything. I wouldn't trust him with my dogs or my cats if I had dogs or cats as pets. I don't trust Tony Khan with anything. I don't trust him with anything at all. But also, however, though, with Anna Jay pretty much staying for now in AEW, Tay Mello apparently it was said a year ago that she asked for her release, but it was denied. Now I'm hearing that Mello, by contrast, will be granted a requested release. I don't understand, and I've said it here on the channel, and Adam Carl said it here on the channel. Why is Tony Khan when there's people that are unhappy in AEW? Why is Tony Khan making them more disgruntled by not letting them go and keeping them held hostage just because he doesn't want them going to the other place, afraid the other place might use them better, meaning WWE, because he doesn't want them going to WWE? Tony, if you're listening to this, I wish Adam Carl was with me here, but unfortunately he can't today, though he's back for this next week. So you're going to be hearing it from me. And I'm sure Adam Carl and I both will reiterate it next week for episode 35. Tony Khan, if you're listening, listen up and listen up real clear. If there's anybody on your current AEW roster that is not being used or is underutilized or is that fucking unhappy and doesn't want to be there, let them go. Let them go. If they don't want to be there, why keep them and have them be more unhappy and more miserable and more disgruntled? Is it really that worth it? You're not going to fucking use them. And I certainly don't trust you, Tony Khan, to use Anna Jay now that you kept her for God knows how long, whatever her new deal is now. And it's not just Anna Jay or anybody else, Tay Mello, that's unhappy. It's not just Tay Mello that's unhappy, apparently. There are a bunch of others. Britt Baker, she hasn't been seen in almost 2 years. I think Britt Baker's pretty much out the door this fall, apparently when her contract's up this September. I think Britt Baker's out the door. Oh, but she's doing the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Happy with Britt Baker for Rebel and thinking of Rebel. But that's completely different compared to this. If people like Britt Baker don't want to be there, private party, Tony Khan is not using them. He's not doing shit with them. He's not doing shit with Keith Lee either. He's not doing shit with a lot of these people on the roster. Wardlow's another one. Thunder Rosa. Tony, if you have no plans for certain people, those that are that unhappy in AEW that you have no plans for and are that disgruntled and do not want to fucking be there, Tony, let them fucking go. Let them go. You have way too many wrestlers on your roster to begin with. You have a way overbloated roster to begin with. You're not using a good chunk of these people. Why keep them and make them more unhappy? Just do the right thing, Tony, and let them go. Other companies could use them, and you're not doing a damn thing with them. Nothing. If Tay Mello is that unhappy and does not want to be there and she asked for her release, why deny her release a year ago? She clearly is that unhappy, and it looks like she's that unhappy and doesn't want to be there. Why deny her release? Let her go. Let her go and let her work somewhere else where she'll be more happy, better, and where she'll be more happy and more better off elsewhere. Because clearly, Tony, you're not going to use her. You're not. If Tymelo's that unhappy, Tony, let her go. Point blank. And again, not just Tymelo that's unhappy. There are a lot of other people. Wardlow, I mentioned. I know he's hurt, but still. Tony Khan has fumbled Wardlow. He's fumbled others as well. But this goes for you, straight to you, Tony Khan. Again, if there are people on your roster that you have fuck all plans for, you have zero plans for them, then you don't plan on using them. If you're just gonna have certain people sit in the toy chest, just collect dust, it makes no sense to keep them. You're just wasting you're just burning and wasting money at that point. You are. What is the point in keeping certain people that are like those that are not unhappy? What is the point of even keeping them if they're that fucking unhappy? Just let them go. Just let them go and let them work somewhere else where they'll be a lot more happy and a lot better off for it. Because clearly, Tony, you're not gonna do shit. You're not doing shit with them, and you're not gonna do shit with them. And you have a way too overloaded roster to begin with. You know, you have way too many wrestlers on your roster to begin with. You could release some people, and this is what Tony Khan should be doing. And I know the releases suck, and they suck in WWE, but and I know WWE's a business, but AEW, I think they should kind of do a thing like a releases every year. If you're not using certain talent, just let them go. Plain and simple. Like you re-sign the Dork Order. They have not been the same since Brody Lee passed away 6 years ago. And you recently re-signed them to new deals. To me, that's a waste of money. They offer nothing to your product, and you re-sign them to new deals? Why? So, just mind-boggling to me. Again, there's certain people that don't want to be in AEW, Tony. Just do the right and selfless thing, and just please let them go. Just let them go. Plain and simple. And also, speaking about Tay Mello, Sammy Guevara removed AEW from his bio. I actually want to talk about this. Listen to this. There's something I want to pull up here if I can find it. Because I have it in my notes. I'm going to pull this up right here. Sammy Guevara. Let me look him up. Here we go. So this is according to The Observer and Brian Alvarez. Dave Meltzer. Take them with a grain of salt. Especially Meltzer that he's being paid off by Tony. especially being paid off by Tony Khan. I'm like here. So this is from Tony Khan as well, from the media call on Thursday a day ago. Quote from Tony: I thought it was unusual that people said that there was a change in Sammy's status because nothing has changed. Sammy's done well. He's wrestling in Ring of Honor more often. Yeah, as if anyone watches Ring of Honor, Tony. He's done some good things in AEW, and as one half of the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, had appeared in AEW as part of AEW. It wasn't Sammy's fault that Beast Mortos visa had been jammed up for a very long time, and because I really like Sammy and Beast Mortos, I had gone to CMLL and said they're great champions, and they've gone very well for me. I think they'll be very good for CMLL, and they got booked in the Arena Mexico defending the championships. Made a few defenses and lost the championships to Mascara Dorada and Mystico. As I understand it, when Sammy changed his Twitter bio, I don't think Sammy ever had AEW in his bio in the first place, so I don't think it was any negative change. I got a nice message from Sammy saying he wasn't to do anything bad and that he loves AEW, and I believe it. And I believe that. Add in there. Says Sammy has been a good wrestler for us in AEW Ring of Honor. He's a great talent and a very good person, so I don't think he meant to do anything. It seemed like people jumped on him for something he didn't even do. Certainly just messing around with a Twitter bio, it's pretty amazing how people would jump to conclusions, but also jump on him. In my opinion, in this case, probably unfairly. Now, also according to Brian Albertson on the Wrestling Observer Radio, there's reportedly no change in Sammy Guevara's AEW status despite rumors regarding his future in the company. As it turns out, his contract has not expired. He has not been released. Nothing has changed. And I was told that AEW had never been in his social media bio, according to Brian Alvarez of the Observer Radio. If Tay Malo asked for a release and she is about to be granted it, it'd be interesting to see with Sammy Guevara, because Guevara is married to Tay Melo and their parents together as well. Again, like now Tony Khan said, oh, he's happy in AEW. I don't believe that for a second. When was the very last time Sammy Guevara felt relevant and felt something meaningful in AEW? The last time really I could recall was Cody Rhodes' last match in AEW. He had that very good ladder match with Guevara for the undisputed TNT title, with Cody's last match in AEW before Cody Rhodes 4 years ago in 2022 returned to WWE. That's the very last time I can think of Sammy Guevara was in something that was actually meaningful and relevant and important. That meant something. And Sammy Guevara for a long time has felt to me very underutilized, and just Tony Khan just doesn't know what to do them with all these former WWE guys coming into AEW. Original signees and previous signees like Sammy Guevara get further pushed down the card. The more Tony Khan brings in these former WWE guys to AEW, in my opinion. And it says Sammy Guevara's contract is not expired. Probably not yet. At some point, I do expect it to. And if I'm Sammy Guevara, I would probably make the jump to WWE. I think he fit very well in NXT, at least in my opinion. Or in AAA, you could do AAA under The Undertaker. I think that would be great as well, is also in my opinion. But Tony's not going to have any plans for Sammy in AEW. He's not. He has him in fucking Ring of Honor, a show nobody fucking watches. So just like Tay Melo being unhappy and not wanting to be there and wanting out, if people like Sammy Guevara, like I said moments ago, if people don't want to, if there's certain people in AEW that don't want to be there, just let them go. Just release them out of their contracts and let them be free to work anywhere else. Because clearly you're not going to fucking use them. And you haven't been using them. And Sammy Guevara is actually a very good talent and deserves better. And he's too good to be just wasted away. And I feel the past several years, at least a couple years, he's been absolutely wasted in AEW. Especially with Tony sending him to Ring of Honor, a dead promotion. So I know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen with Sammy Guevara, but anything happens with Sammy Guevara and Tay Mello on their contract stuff with AEW, if they get let go or wherever they go, whatever happens to them, if they stay, they leave, me and Adam Carl we'll certainly let you guys know. Getting a little carried away on the AEW contract talks as well. Then we got the back to the AEW Redemption preview predictions. We got one more match to talk about on Redemption, and it's the main event. Kenny Omega defends the AEW World Championship against Kevin Knight, who is the TNT champion. I have to ask something, but before I do that, why is this match happening? Look, I love Kenny Omega. I love Kevin Knight. Is Kevin Knight going to be a world champion? Maybe in the future? Yes. But with Kevin Knight and Kenny Omega, a pay-per-view world title match? I'm sorry. This does not make any fucking sense whatsoever. Like, is it worth the $50? Again, no disrespect to Kevin Knight, but he's not there yet. He'll be a future world champion. Not right now, though. And you're putting him in a situation where Omega can't lose and Kevin Knight can't lose. Omega loses and Kevin Knight wins. Like, you're gonna have Kevin Knight go into All In as the world champion. Like, what? Like, that doesn't make any sense. He's not there yet. He will be, but not now. It's way too soon. And Omega, he wins and Kevin Knight loses. What does it do for Kevin Knight? And he's a TNT champion. It develops a TNT title. What does it do for Kevin Knight if he loses? It does nothing for him. It doesn't make him look good. Doesn't make Omega look good. You're basically booking yourself into a corner with this match. Why even book the match? Oh, but it's an opportunity to see what Kevin Knight can do, and this is a pay-per-view match for a world title. No, it's not. For $50, it's fucking not. It's not. And you wonder why I'm not wasting $50 on said Redemption pay-per-view on Sunday. Do you blame me? I don't think you can. I don't think you can at all. And several others, too, that say I'm not buying the pay-per-view. I don't blame those people. I don't blame those people either. This is a waste. This entire pay-per-view Redemption feels like a glorified Dynamite on a Sunday night. I'm not wasting my time watching that shit on Sunday. I'm not. But I'm going Kenny Omega to retain here, and he should. But even with that, MJF should still be the one to go into Wembley as champion, and still the wrong decision to take the belt off MJF to put it on Omega, just to do Omega and Ospreay All In, because Tony Khan's a fucking mark. I still don't agree with that at all, and I think it should have still been MJF and Will Ospreay for the AEW Championship at All In. Don't at me. I'm going Kenny Omega to beat Kevin Knight here. I mean, don't get me wrong, it should be a good match, but like, why book the match where neither guy can lose? Neither guy can lose here, and I feel like Tony Khan fucked up big time with the world title plans going into Wembley. Tony Khan fucked up big time, and Tony Khan is nobody to blame but himself. And shame on him. So that is your AEW Redemption preview and predictions for episode 34 here on the channel. Other news I would like to talk about. Speaking with AEW, as I mentioned, free agents. I mentioned that. Let me see. Go. Oh, speaking of Dynamite, yeah, Wednesday's show was terrible. For a go-home show, the show was awful. So bad. I'm not even wasting so much time on that. It was a bad show. So I'm not wasting so much time on that. And it just shows you how uninteresting AEW is. If there was interest and excitement in AEW, I would talk a lot more AEW here on the channel. But the fact that AEW has nothing going for them right now, that's a big speaks volumes, and it's a big problem. Just throwing that out there. Also talk about NXT as well. It was fine. We did have Kendall Gray, Lola Vice in an underground match for the NXT Women's title rematch announced for NXT August 4th. That would be the NXT after SummerSlam. I expect Kendall Gray to retain in the underground against Lola Vice. I think that's Lola Vice's last match NXT. And because Lola Vice is dating Damian Priest, I think we see Lola Vice debut on the main roster on the SmackDown brand on the SmackDown after SummerSlam. I don't you guys think? But put down in the comments what you think. Do you think Lola Vice gets called up on the SmackDown after SummerSlam, after her NXT Women's title rematch on the NXT after SummerSlam? Let me know what you guys think on that, because I feel that's got to be Lola Vice's last match in NXT. And I think she gets put on SmackDown with Damian Priest, and NXT Women's Division and the SmackDown Women's Division could use some help now that Rhea Ripley's down with injury. So hopefully Lola Vice is SmackDown bound. We'll see. And that's a nice get for SmackDown as well. Easily slaughter in a mid-card, slaughter in a main event as well. She could do either one. And she's dating Damian Priest, and WWE likes to keep couples together. So I expect Lola Vice to be with Damian Priest on SmackDown as soon as the SmackDown after SummerSlam, after she loses a rematch to Kendall Gray on August 4th NXT. So let me know what you guys think on that down in the comments below. Other news. Where do I begin next? I was going to talk about this next. I don't want to waste too much time on this because I think this is a terrible idea. But if it happens at WrestleMania next year in Saudi, I would not be surprised because of the Saudis. Apparently, Tom Brady reportedly in talks with WWE and Nick Khan, and we might be getting Tom Brady and Logan Paul at WrestleMania 43 in Saudi Arabia. God help us all if that fucking happens. Nobody, and I repeat, nobody asked for that shit. Nobody. Who in their right mind with a brain and 20/20 vision, who asked for that? Who with a functioning brain in their heads asked for that fucking shit? Who? We had Logan Paul and Tom Brady at the recent World Cup. It was Spain versus Argentina in the World Cup finals this year. Logan Paul and Tom Brady having a face-to-face and smacking each other around. Dude, I swear, it was the cringiest shit I've ever seen. It was so bad. Even at Fanatics Fest, that little face-to-face, that was even more cringe. And we might be getting Tom Brady and Logan Paul at WrestleMania. If that happens, I would not be shocked at all if that fucking happens. And God help us all if that happens. Nobody wants to see that. If that happens at WrestleMania, I swear to God, that is my bathroom break match. I'm not watching that shit. I'm not. Tom Brady is a football player, not a pro wrestler. He belongs nowhere near the fucking wrestling ring. If he's a fan of wrestling, that's another thing. But just stay out of the fucking ring if you're not going to take it seriously, and if you're just going to treat wrestling and WWE and pro wrestling in general like a fucking joke. Nobody asked for Tom Brady in a fucking WWE wrestling ring. Nobody. This is like Travis Scott, Pat McAfee celebrity shit all over again. You would think TK would learn? No. Ari Emanuel cares about his money and his woke Hollywood celebrity friends that don't even pay money to get into these shows. Ari pretty much lets his buddies in for free. Don't at me on that one. Tom Brady and Logan Paul at WrestleMania. Again, Lord help us all. I do not want to see that. I hope to God we don't see that. But if it happens, I would not be shocked. And if it happens, I refuse to watch that match. If that happens, I know where I'll be, and that's not watching the match. That is my piss break match if that happens. Fuck that. Fuck that. I don't care if you're a fan of the NFL or Tom Brady or whatever team or whatnot was associated with Tom Brady. Nobody wants to see Tom Brady versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania. Nobody. WrestleMania is about your current active roster and the best of the best on the card. And you're gonna have fucking Tom Brady of all people on the card? What? You gotta be fucking kidding me with that shit. That's a fucking joke right there. Nobody wants to see that match. And nobody asked for that match. Not a single person asked for Tom Brady wrestling on WrestleMania on the card. Not a fucking one asked for that. That better not happen. And if it does, I will be fucking pissed. I will. Moving on from Tom Brady. I don't want to talk about that so much. It makes me angry with that. Also, other news, Monday Night Raw. I'm not even going to waste time on that either. Past Monday on Raw, one of the worst Raws of the year. The Raw before that was very focus-driven, story-driven. What happened to that? And then this past Monday on Raw, we get a shit Raw, a rerun like Jacob Fatu LA Knight. Rerun, like, who cares? And I'm over the bloodline slop. End it already. Please. The only thing interesting in this bloodline slop is LA Knight, and that's it. The rest, I don't care. Maybe Solo Sikoa, but LA Knight is the only thing I care. The rest, I could give 2 fucks less with that shit. Fuck off with that. And then Danhausen and Dominic Mysterio announced for SummerSlam. Filler match. Filler. And so that was Raw this past Monday. Just a terrible Raw this past Monday. And then SmackDown this past Friday. SmackDown last week was a terrible show as well. Terrible show as well, SmackDown last week in Albany, New York on SmackDown last week. Other news right here. Saturday night's main event. Might as well talk about that. Get that out of the way. I will say, if you miss Saturday night's main event on Saturday in the Garden MSG from New York City, you miss nothing. The only thing I would say to go back and watch, really, is Bayley and Lyra. Maybe the women's tag team title win with Fatal Influence, which them winning, I think, is the right move. Except that finish where JC tried to help Lady pin Paige, which it didn't look good camera shot wise. I don't know what happened there. But Fatal Influence, Fallon Henley, and Laney Reed win the women's tag titles as they should. Other matches like Danhausen and JD McDonough. Yeah. We had Lyra Valkyria beat Bayley. That was good. Lyra laid out Bayley after the match. I will say this. I like what Lyra's doing, and I like her new heel look and her new heel persona, and I think this is going to work for Lyra Valkyria. So far so good with Lyra. Hopefully they keep that up, but I will say that I'm liking what Lyra Valkyria is doing, and I think this heel thing really works for her. I do. With this crazy deranged appearance as well. Looks like a Nikki Cross kind of a thing. She looks all crazy. And almost looks like the bird lady from Home Alone 2 who recently sadly passed away at 81. I think it was Brenda Fricker, I think. Put it down in the comment section. I think if that's a correct name, Brenda Fricker. Let me look it up. Brenda Fricker. Yeah, Brenda Fricker, who died a week ago on July the 16th of 2026. She sadly passed away to Brenda Fricker a week ago on July 16th at 81 years old. Very sad. And she was the lady from the Home Alone 2 film in the 1990s, which is one of my favorite films, actually. Home Alone 2. Very, very good movie. And now she's sadly no longer with us, which is really, really sad. But Lyra, and facial appearance-wise nowadays with her new heel persona, looks somewhat of that. But I like the new heel look and the new heel persona for Lyra. I hope that keeps up. And I hope it leads to Lyra as a world champion someday. And they're going to need future pieces of this company. I think Lyra Valkyria is definitely one of them. So we'll see. But Lyra Valkyria Bayley was really good. Lyra Valkyria won with some like headlock choke, some bulldog choke, and then afterwards, after Lyra won, she did the Nightwing to Bayley on the steel steps on the outside. We'll get to Bayley in a second, actually, because she's in the thumbnail regarding Bayley's current WWE status. But we'll talk about that in just a little bit. And then the CM Punk Cody Rhodes versus Gunther and Sami Zayn match. That was really, really good. There was one spot where Punk accidentally hit Cody in the face with the WWE title. Gunther and Sami were about to win, but then the referee was down and the new referee in the ring. Nick Aldis pulls the ref out of the ring, costs Gunther the match, and Gunther and Sami lose to Sami. And then Gunther and Sami lose to Cody and Punk thanks to Nick Aldis. And after the Saturday Night's Main Event show, backstage, it was even on X or social media, a backstage thing with Cody and Punk, someone arguing, and some guy tried to film them, and he was told to go away. Then at the SummerSlam kickoff this past Sunday, Triple H not only made Gunther Nick Aldis at SummerSlam official, but also Punk and Cody in their face-to-face. Really good face-to-face. So we finally have some tension with those two. Finally. Enough of this lovey-dovey love fest. Hey, brother, let's have a match, brother. Let's have a title match, brother. Okay, brother. When do you want to have a title match? SummerSlam, brother. Okay, let's do it, brother. Let's go get a coffee, brother. Let's go get a haircut, brother. We're the greatest of all time, brother. Like, what is this? This is SummerSlam, like your second biggest show of the year. And you have for your WWE title and your world title as well, like a lovey-dovey fest build going into your second big, with your two big world title matches going into your second biggest show of the year. Like, what are we doing here? Like, where's the sense of urgency? Where's the intensity? Like, where? But we finally got it with Cody and Punk coming out of Saturday. Good. Then we got it Then we got it at the SummerSlam kickoff from Sunday as well. Good on that as well. So I'm hoping we see that with tonight on SmackDown with Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. Hopefully. So we'll see on that. But we finally got tension with Cody and Punk. At least with the WWE title on SmackDown with Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. At least with that. And then we got the main event segment with Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Jalen Brunson and this other one, the NBA. I don't care. It's all celebrity slop from Ari Emanuel TKO. I could give two flying fucks less on that. And the less I talk about that shit, the better. And it goes to show Ari Emanuel doesn't care about pro wrestling or the WWE. He just wants his monies. He wants his money. Oh, but they're in debt. They need the money. I don't give a fuck. You can still have your company, let your company be good and still make money at the same time, Ari. That I'd even watch that main event segment with Roman, Seth, and the NBA guys. I don't even care to talk about that. It's a waste of my time. So we're not even going to talk on that shit. It's that irrelevant. But I mentioned Saturday night's main event. So I mentioned Saturday night's main event. Thoughts, analysis on that. I mentioned Bayley not long ago. Now, she is in the thumbnail, as you can see. Apparently, and I have news on Bayley. I will pull that up right here. If I can pull this up. Let me see. Here. Ta-da. Let's see here. Let's see. Here we go. So apparently, news on Bayley. This is according to Fightful Select. It is said that Bayley is not believed to have signed a new deal with WWE at this point yet, according to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, citing WWE sources. Sapp also reports that AEW has long had its eye on Bayley whenever her contract is up. Now, with major interest well known within the company. Now, it said they've had been interested in her within a year, and now Bayley's WWE contract doesn't expire until the end of 2026. And it also says Bayley was written off WWE TV at Saturday Night's Main Event following Lyra Valkyria's attack. Now, I did also see for the SummerSlam tryouts next week, Bayley was on this thing, thing with that with Shawn Michaels, Robert Stone. If I can find it, and let me find it because I did also see it as well. It's with Javon Evans, Bayley, Natalia, or Natty, and Shawn Michaels. Now, it was a SummerSlam poster for the SummerSlam tryout. Now it's changed to Javon Evans, Natty, Shawn Michaels, and Ivy Nile. I don't know if that means anything, but I guess we'll see on that. Now, there is also, I'm just reading this now, backstage belief that Saturday Night's Main Event, there was backstage talk that it would be Bayley's last match at MSG Saturday Night's Main Event. Now, this is according to Dave Meltzer. I take this with a grain of salt, honestly. It says Bayley is, like I said, Bayley was quietly removed from SummerSlam weekend event. The tryouts amid WWE exit rumors. Again, I don't really know if this really means anything, but and speaking of Meltzer, he rated Bayley and Lyra at Saturday Night's Main Event 3.25 stars. That's if anyone takes the match rating from Meltzer any seriously. It's that nobody should be listening to that. Nobody should be listening to some goof rating a match who knows nothing about wrestling, who doesn't even work for a company, who knows fuck all. And also looking at the news as well regarding Bayley, that other news, let me just find it also here, because there's other reports, articles right here regarding Bayley. It says, according to WWE balance sheet, I don't know if I take this with a grain of salt, sources have confirmed that the MSG angle is planned as a write-off from TV for Bayley. Any return in the future would be under renewed contract terms, or Bayley will test the market in free agency and possibly show up outside WWE upon the expiration of her current deal. Until the contract situation is sorted out, do not expect the future Hall of Famer on TV. As well. There. Now, it is also said that WWE and TKO are expected to want to keep her and stuff like that as well. That's also said in the reports also. Now, I will say this. Do I think it's Bayley's last time we see her on TV with Saturday Night's Main Event? I'll be very honest with you. I don't think so. I don't know if she leaves or stays, honestly. I don't think she goes anywhere. When she was written off at Saturday Night's Main Event, I don't think it's the last time we see her on TV, and I don't think she's done feuding with Lyra, to be honest with you. Does she leave at the end of the year? That remains to be seen. Because remember, TKO's asking talent to take a pay cut. I guess with them being in debt, I don't like it. I don't know if that's not a reason maybe Bayley wants to test free agency. I don't know. I don't know, just a theory. But Triple H is no fool that's just gonna let Bayley just walk. With her being a big Triple H girl, if you don't think Triple H is gonna fight to keep her, you're sadly mistaken. Plus Bayley, another big factor. I know she has now a big factor in AEW. There's big factors in AEW and WWE. If she goes to AEW, if she stays, I wouldn't be surprised. If she goes to AEW, I wouldn't be surprised either. Now, why maybe go to AEW? She's pretty much done everything in WWE. There's nothing left for her there. And she may need a nice change of scenery. And there's a lot of fresh opponents for an AEW. Plus, her best friend, Sasha Banks / Mercedes Moné, is there. I mean, I know her contract is up at the end of the year, going into the spring of next year. But I don't think Mercedes leaves unless Tony Khan's foolish and just lets Mercedes walk. But Tony would be an idiot to do that. So if Bayley goes to AEW, it wouldn't shock me. And I'd support her no matter where she goes. But even if she goes to AEW, she could always come back to WWE later on down the line. Maybe, who knows? Maybe when Sasha goes back to WWE, maybe she comes back to WWE with Bayley. Who knows? But if Bayley leaves WWE, that's a big loss for WWE with a locker room leader. WWE may really want to have that with her. And also, Bayley may want to be a trainer as well. She has her lodestone, and she works with AAA with The Undertaker. Those are also big factors of does she leave WWE or not. Those are interesting things, not just Sasha Banks and AEW, but with WWE, Bayley's lodestone that she does, that's with WWE. And then her AAA work with The Undertaker. I think those are two big factors. And I don't think Triple H and The Undertaker are just going to foolishly just let Bayley walk like that. I don't think they're just going to let her just walk out of the company like that. And I think they're going to do what it takes to try and keep her. So we'll see. Do I think Bayley stays or do I think she leaves? Now, Saturday night's main event, I don't think it's the last time we see her. I think she continues to feud with Lyra. Leaving or staying. That depends if TKO wants a pay cut or maybe Bayley wants to test free agency. Maybe she does what Edge did in 2020 where he was talking with AEW, then he told Vince, then Vince was knowing of it, and then he offered Edge more money, and Edge chose WWE instead of AEW, and then Edge chose WWE in 2020 instead of AEW. Maybe that's what Bayley does with contract leverage. Maybe she lets her contract expire, talks to AEW, see how much money they offer, then talk to WWE. So she talks to AEW, this Bayley, ask how much money offer, then ask WWE how much money they offer, and then weigh the options. Maybe that's what Bayley does. Who the hell knows? Because that's what Edge did in 2020, if you remember. So maybe that's what Bayley goes with. I don't know what she does. I don't know what happens. Again, Triple H and Undertaker, especially Triple H, would be foolish to let Bayley just walk like that foolishly. I don't think he's going to do that because she's a big Triple H girl. And I think he cares for her way too much. Just let her walk so blatant and foolishly like that. I think he's going to try and fight to keep her and do whatever it takes to keep her. And he'd be foolish to just let her go. Triple H Paul Levesque would be foolish to just let her walk. Not making excuses for Triple H, but him and Bayley go way back to all the way to Black and Gold NXT days and stuff. I mean, could Bayley be used better on TV? Yes. But also, maybe Bayley wants to be a trainer, but again, Triple H would be foolish to let her go like that. I think with Saturday night's main event, that's not the last time we see her. Does she leave the company? That remains to be seen at the end of the year because her contract is up at the end of the year or later part of the year, a few months. Some people saying if the contract's up in a few months or end of the year. It's really somebody's contract status is really nobody's business, but I'm going the assumption her contract's up at the end of the year. But Saturday night's main event. Do I think it's the last time we see Bayley on WWE television? No. But does she leave the company or does she stay? I think she probably stays, but if she leaves, I would not be against it and I would not be surprised because she's done everything in WWE. She could always, and if she leaves and goes to AEW, it's not like she's going to be in AEW. It's not like she's going to be in AEW forever. She could always come back with Sasha down the line. Same thing with Mercedes. She's not going to be in AEW forever, but if Bayley stays, good. If she leaves, good. I support her no matter where Bayley goes. So we'll see what happens, but I think she stays. They'd be fools to just let her go and not try it. If they don't fight and try and keep her, then we got a big problem. But they're not. But I mean, TKO may be dumb, but they're not that dumb. And say what you want about Triple H the past year or so playing it safe with creative, but he's not that stupid. He's not going to let Bayley just walk like that. He's not. He will do whatever it fucking takes to keep her. So do I think Bayley stays? Yeah, I do. I don't think she goes anywhere, but if she leaves, it wouldn't shock me either. But I'm going with she stays, but if she leaves, it wouldn't surprise me. So let me know what you guys think on that. And whatever happens with Bayley, whether she stays or leaves, Adam Carl and I will certainly let you know on that. Other news, let's see. Let me just look up my notes right here. Let's see, look at my notes. Okay. Other news I want to talk about the current update on the SummerSlam 2026 tickets for next week for Minneapolis, Minnesota at the US Bank Stadium. Now, I do actually have a little thing here. I just reading this recent update now regarding that. A total now this is per WrestleTix. Apparently SummerSlam has moved just over 60,000 tickets in total with the updated SummerSlam ticket sales for, now this is all WrestleTix. Night 1 has 30,205 tickets. Night 2 has 29,897 tickets. That is up from the 22,000 or so not long ago. Now, recently, WWE TKO did lower the prices for SummerSlam to as low as $25. It probably depends on where you go. If you go on Ticketmaster or SeatGeek or Vivid Seats or whatever ticket website you use or ticket app you use, whether you use a computer or cell phone. But they recently lowered them to as low as $25 as well. And it looks like they're selling okay now. I mean, it's still lower than last year's SummerSlam in MetLife Stadium. They sold it was 60,000 each night for last year's SummerSlam in MetLife. It's still lower than last year. But I mean, I guess this $25 is working, but the past week for wrestling in WWE was just not good. But, and I've said it here, lower the damn ticket prices. That's what happens when you lower ticket prices. You start seeing movement in tickets. So hopefully that's not a one and done thing. But because the families want to come to the shows, but they can't because you're outpricing them. And that's a lot more so of a TKO thing to outprice people like that. But with them lowering the prices now to as low as $25 for SummerSlam for each night, and it's working, I'm hoping that's a sign of things to come. Hopefully this is not a one and done thing. But I mean, we'll see. But that's an update for the SummerSlam tickets so far. But it's like compared to last year's attendance with 60,000 last year, now 30,000 this year. Each night, I have to say that's bad. That's not good. And that's what happens when you outprice your people. And I know, and it's also the creative. I know those will say if the product was good, people wouldn't mind the expensive prices, but honestly, they want a good product and a reasonable price. Even if the product's good and the tickets are still expensive, I don't think people would still come to the show because of it being so expensive. People want a good product and good prices, not just one over the other. If you have a good product and a good ticket prices, that's a recipe for success. If you're doing good product, expensive prices, bad product, cheap prices, I think it's playing 50-50. To have a bad product and expensive price, that's the worst thing you can do. That is a big no-no. But yeah, they lowered the ticket prices to the lowest 25. Looks like it's working. We'll see what happens if they lower the price in the future, and I hope they do. Do I think they do? No, I would be shocked if they do, but we'll see what happens. What do we got here? Infamous. Here we go. Oh, Wesley Stover in the chat. What's up, Wesley? Make sure you hit the like on the video. Hi, Nick. I spent $200 for the lower level seats for SmackDown October 30th. That's the day before Halloween. And Wesley, if you're in the chat, where's that SmackDown, by the way? And he said he spent $200 for lower level seats. Is that for one ticket, Wesley, or is that like more than one ticket? Let me know. But $200 for the lower level, that's where like I'm not sure if it's like you're near the barricade or Charleston, West Virginia. West Virginia. Not sure if it's like if you're near the barricade or the middles, like near like the side or near like the entrance ramp, but that's lower level. Both tickets. So you're talking like at least 2 tickets. So wow, wait. So Wesley, they were $200 each or total $200 overall? Because if it's $200 each, that's crazy. In Charleston, West Virginia, that's nuts. Unless it's a total of $200, that I can understand. But wow, but I will say this, Wesley, though. If you're going to SmackDown on October 30th, I hope you have a good time at least. Make some noise too. So Wesley says $200 overall. I had a pre-sale code. Oh, okay. All right. I thought it was $200 each a ticket, because if that was the case, that's crazy. But that's not that. Okay. All right. I wasn't sure, so I just wanted to check and clarify. So if that was okay, so no worries. $200 overall at pre-sale code. The pre-sale code is always good too. It's always good to have. I know sometimes I don't use it, though I probably should, but that's nice. So $200 overall plus, like I'm sure they always tax you. They tax everybody, stuff like that, and fees and protection for a ticket, which you always want, which I always do when I go to a wrestling show or any kind of event in general. I always do for ticket protection, always, because you never know. So I mean, $200 overall. I mean, I can definitely see and understand that. I think that it looks to me that's reasonable. If you do like the pre-sale and ticket protection, obviously they're going to tax you. You can't really avoid that, which sucks, but they always tax you, unfortunately. You can't get out of that, and nobody can, unfortunately, which is a fucking shame. But I will say this though, Wesley. I hope you have a very good time at the SmackDown in Charleston, West Virginia on October 30th. I hope you have a good time. VIP is $700? Wow. I mean, it looks like it's better than thousands for VIP, but $700 is still expensive. It's still quite pricey. That's insane. Plus, like, you got to think of like car and gas, or an Uber, taxi, or plane if you're out of state, merchandise, food, which is added more added expenses. It's a lot of money. And it's a lot of money to go to anything event-wise nowadays. You know, not just wrestling, just like concerts or anything else, like concerts, sports events, anything like those things. Not cheap nowadays anymore, especially in today's economy. But the next thing I wanted to talk about is actually Infosys Theater. That's the theater in Madison Square Garden in New York City. During Saturday night's main event this past Saturday, WWE announced the theater in Madison Square Garden. They're going to host apparently WrestleMania 43 watch parties, as well as NXT Stand and Deliver and AAA Eternal Glory. I don't know about you guys, and I've watched a lot of AAA lately. I'm loving what Undertaker is doing with AAA. And call me nuts that I've never been to a AAA show before. I might actually go to AAA Eternal Glory next spring WrestleMania 43 weekend. I may actually, or around WrestleMania 43 weekend or something like that. I may actually go to that. And that NXT Stand and Deliver. I don't know if that's going to be going on the same time as that, but or if it's the same day. if they have WrestleMania 43 in Saudi early in the day and then later on, because it's a different time zone over in Saudi, they get done in the early afternoon, and then later that night is Stand and Deliver and then AAA. Whether I may actually, I don't know if it's going to be going on the same time Stand and Deliver as AAA. I would hope to go to both, but I may go to the AAA show, at least a AAA show, in MSG, the theater in Madison Square Garden, plus their WrestleMania watch party. I may actually go to that. And it says tickets should be on sale. I think, let me look it up. Because let me look it up. NXT Stand and Deliver AAA Eternal Glory. I'm just looking this up. Let's see. Event details. Let's see here. It should be on the same day. I just want to know when they go on sale. It says during WrestleMania 43 weekend in April 2027, the AAA Eternal Glory and NXT Stand and Deliver taking place at the Infosys Theater in Madison Square Garden. It says for tickets, I don't think they've gone on sale just yet. I would assume soon they go on sale. But whenever they go on sale, I may consider going, especially to at least that AAA show. So just want to throw that out there and stuff like that. So I may actually go to that, actually, believe it or not. Call me nuts, but I may actually go to that, at least a AAA show. So we'll see what happens. And but I wouldn't go to the city by myself, especially in today's New York City, man, being a shit show that it is, and it's a shame. I don't think it's a good idea to even go to a city by yourself. You go with someone, obviously. But hopefully you're able to go to that AAA show with the Garden next spring, WrestleMania 43 weekend. So, we'll see what happens. But yeah, AAA and NXT getting MSG for WrestleMania 43 weekend. So I like that. I like that a lot. So I may be at the AAA show and hopefully AAA and NXT. So we'll see. Maybe watch WrestleMania watch party. We'll see what happens, but just thought I threw it out there. I think that's great news, especially the WWE WrestleMania main roster in Saudi. At least like NXT and AAA has something to distract from that, because like nobody's a fan of WrestleMania and Saudi at all. And me being one of them, not pleased with it at all because of the Saudis. But happy NXT and AAA, and I would assume AEW as well do something like NXT AAA, but we'll see what happens. But whenever tickets go on sale, let you know. If AEW does something similar around that weekend, I'll let you know on that as well. Looking at my other notes that I have for this episode, so just looking at my notes, so I'll make sure I cover everything here on the channel, so I don't miss any topic. So just bear with me. Other news here. Let me look at my phone. Here we go. Other news. Now, I was thinking maybe talking about this, but I don't know. Maybe I save it for next week. I'll save it for next week, because apparently this Saturday, Janelle Grant and the lawsuit with Vince McMahon and the Janelle Grant lawsuit, apparently that's being settled into private arbitration and settled officially on Saturday, the lawsuit being over. I know some people will speculate that, it's over. Vince is going to come back. If he comes back, I would not be shocked. But do I think he's running the company? No. Will he be brought back in like some capacity? Maybe. Like a once in a while appearing on TV or Hall of Fame? Maybe. But I don't think he's going to run the company. He won't. Now, if Vince was there business-wise, I'd be all for it. But creative, no. But do I think he runs back creative? No, I don't. I think that's done. Because if Ari brings Vince back in the creative aspect, or the board, sponsorships like Slim Jim pulled out 2 years ago around the Royal Rumble in 2024. Sponsorships in Slim Jim would immediately pull out. And you know Ari and TKO love their monies. And whenever their money pockets get hit so hard, then it's when they listen. And does Ari and TKO really want to risk that? You know? And that's a bad look. And they don't really need that at all whatsoever. So, with Vince being cleared of those charges with Janelle Grant on Saturday tomorrow, apparently, according to some reports, do I think we kind of figured he'd be cleared, but with the lawsuit with Janelle Grant. But does this mean, I know some people are going to speculate it's over, he's going to come back. I know some people speculate, and that's okay. And I feel them. But do I think Vince comes back? No. I don't think so. That's very risky with WWE and TKO to bring him back. Like, sponsorships would pull out. And again, does Ari really want to risk that? Because the truth is, when TKO's monies get really hit so severe and hard, then that's when they listen. And to bring back Vince, is it really worth sacrificing your sponsorship and your monies for Vince? Like, that's a terrible, terrible, terrible look. And that's such a big black eye that they don't need whatsoever at all. And I don't think it's worth it. So I don't know if they really want to risk that. And they love their monies more than anything. So, I mean, but with Vince being cleared, okay, I think he should be in jail. I think he should be locked up behind bars and throw away the fucking key. But if he's being cleared, okay. But however, do I think he comes back? Does he take charge and run creative, run the company? No. Him being cleared, okay. Does he come back and does he run the company? No, I don't think so. I think those days are gone because of what he did with his image being forever tarnished. And nobody's going to want to even do any work with him. That's a bad, bad look. And nobody's going to want that on their company whatsoever. So if he's cleared, fine. But do I think he comes back? No, I don't. But we'll see. But if he comes back, I wouldn't be shocked. But does he come back does he come back in some way? Probably. Like on screen, like show up on TV once in a while, but running the company? No, I don't. But anything happens, we'll let you know. I hope Vince doesn't come back, but I would not be shocked if he does. But does he run the company? Does he come back run the company? No. Again, no, I don't. Because of his tarnished reputation and image, I don't think any company's really going to want to risk that, in my opinion, and risk all their sponsorships and their working partnerships. And partnerships and sponsorships would quickly pull out. And I don't think TKO really wants to risk all of that. That's such a big risk. And I mean, I'm not sure if they really want to just risk every single bit of that, but we'll see. And apparently Jim Ross expects Vince McMahon to return to wrestling in some form. Maybe it's WWE, but like not work or like be in charge of creative. I don't know about a Hall of Fame. I don't think working with creative in WWE. But maybe Vince works with another promotion like TNA, or I don't know. Or maybe he has his own wrestling. I have no fucking idea. But anything happens, we'll let you know. Adam Carl and I will certainly let you know. And I guess we'll talk more about this next week for episode 35 when Adam Carl's back next week. So just letting you guys know on that. Other news here in the channel. SiriusXM. Let's see. So also going to talk about this SiriusXM multi-year deal with WWE. I think we'll talk about that next week with Adam Carl as well. Looking at the other news here. Right here, just looking through. This other topic as well. Next topic. Mike Santana has officially joined NXT. Now, they didn't mention his name on commentary People were afraid that they were going to change his name, but apparently it looks like social media is saying the name Mike Santana. Hopefully they don't change his name. That'd be dumb. Like I think Jade Cargill was allowed to keep her name, and several others. Andrade should be able. I'm not sure. Mike Santana should be able to do the same thing. I'm happy for Mike Santana. Mike Santana though joining NXT. Wasn't referenced by name on NXT TV when he showed up on Tuesday, but then social media the next day mentioned his name. So hopefully they keep his name. So we'll see what happens. Mike Santana. Now that he's in WWE, and happy for him, honestly. That's a good get for WWE. Let's accept. Next topic. Now, this next topic I want to talk about. Apparently at Fanatics Fest, there was this incident with Penta and the streamer named Neon. Spelled N and then number 3 and then O-N. Apparently, he apologized after filming Penta without. Now, Penta was unmasked, and this guy Neon was filming Penta when he was unmasked. Fucking Mark. Now, during the Fanatics Fest, Penta was put in a very uncomfortable spot. And apparently, like, this guy was being very rude and disrespectful to Penta. Then Neon tried to apologize, and Penta was nasty with him. I would say good on Penta. What is with these entitled streamers, these marks that just they don't like Neon is like one of those bedroom streamers that his content just sucks, and it's just like he's just a fucking mark, and he just wants a free handout. And these are not fans or stalkers that just want to bother these wrestlers. It's not acceptable. And Penta put Neon right in his place. I say this for Penta. Good. I do the same thing, actually. I do the same thing. If a fan came up to me and harassed me or bothered me, like, what is with these fucking idiot people like Neon and people like him? Like, these are not fans. These are stalkers more than anything. Neon is one of those people that would follow a wrestler at an airport to get an autograph so he can go sell it on eBay for an easy buck because he don't want a real job. You don't want to actually work. And that pipe bomb that CM Punk said on that during his pipe bomb in June 2011, man, those words could not be more true today. If true is even a word. But you catch my drift. Like people like Neon have no respect for the wrestlers or the company or the industry and wrestling in general. Like, you should not be like Neon's one of those kinds of people that it's like you're disrespecting Penta, and like it's like you're coming up to him bothering him for no reason. That's really bad. Like that's just as bad as following a wrestler into their locker room. That's not okay. Like ACW, Awesome Championship Wrestling around Poughkeepsie, New York, where I'm at. Like, I mean, my older brother's friends with Hale Collins, who owns ACW. Shout out to him and ACW. Hale Collins and ACW, by the way. And one time, Hale showed me on the ring, hopped up on the apron, really cool, in the commentary desk and production. But the thing is, he doesn't bring me to the locker room. And you know what? I don't belong in the locker room, and I don't go in the locker room. You want to know why? Because I actually have respect for the boys and girls in that locker room. People like Neon have no respect for the wrestlers or the industry whatsoever. He doesn't respect the WWE. He just wants a handout and wants to beg for a fucking job. wants to know everything within a company, wants to have the roster by the nutsack or the ballsack because he wants to know everything from within. And he's only there for the money. He hates the company, hates the wrestlers and the talent. There's people like Neon. He's only there for a paycheck. That's all he's there for. He wants a free handout. He wants everything handed him. He doesn't want to earn it. He just wants a simple ass fucking handout. That's all he wants. And people like Neon are not real fans. And I'm glad Penta put him right in his fucking place. More people should be doing that to these fans. They're not fans. They're more stalkers than anything. People like Neon are those kinds of people that would follow wrestlers at an airport, track a wrestler's flight down, to buy a plane ticket to meet wrestlers at their plane date after getting past security check, just to get an autograph from a wrestler so they can go sell for easy X amount of money on eBay, online. They're not real fans. They're just simple ass fucking stalkers is all they are. And people like Neon are exactly like that. I'm so happy Penta put him right in his place. I do the same thing too. Legitimately, I do the same fucking thing. Good on Penta and fuck Neon. Moving on from this Neon talk right here. Let me look over here. Here. Let me just look at my notes. Go. That's something on my phone. Go. See here. Sorry, guys. No, I'm just trying to pull up my notes, so I hope you guys understand. I'm sure you probably do. Look here. All right. Next piece of news. Paige. I also have with Paige right here. Now, apparently, now it looks like this was at Fanatics Fest as well. Paige was on the Nikki and Bree show with AJ Lee, and I think Bayley was on there as well. Now, Paige did mention her time in AEW, and now her back in WWE. This is apparently what Paige said. This is from Fanatics Fest this past weekend. It was on Sunday. This is what Paige says, quote, "When it comes to myself, I never thought I would ever wrestle again. I was at a stage where my neck was done, my career was done. That was it for Paige. So I never thought 8 years later I'll be back in a WWE ring on a stage with you three ladies like it was 10 years ago." Paige should also retire from in-ring competition in 2018 after spinal stenosis neck injury, which forced her to retire. And Paige also said that the return has been better than she could have pictured and gave the current roster its due. Quote, "It's magical. The new generation of women are so great. They're so intense in the ring. They wrestle their asses off, wrestle rings around me. I tell you that. But I just feel very fortunate that I get to be in the ring with this new generation." Then also, she says to Paige, "Being backstage with everything so new, the locker room was so fresh. So many new faces, but everyone is so nice. Everyone is so sweet. All the girls are so welcoming. They all end up telling us, 'Oh, I watched you in Total Divas. I watched you guys. It's really cool.' You're like, wow, I even made an impact on the girls behind the scenes." And then Paige also brings up her time in AEW, saying that she also underscored where her heart has always been, reflecting on her run in AEW. Quote, "I did go to AEW and I did have a great time there, but my heart wasn't in it. And I feel like you could see that in my performance. I'm a WWE girl. I've been there since I was 18 years old. I gave my neck for this company. I grew up here." End of article. I mean, her beginning run in AEW was not bad. It wasn't. And then she was with the Outcast with Toni Storm and Ruby Soho. Man, that fucking flopped. That could have been something, had potential, but it sucked the way it was booked. And it went nowhere. Went absolutely nowhere. She won the women's title all in a Wembley in 2023 because Tony Khan wanted a moment. That's all that was. And Tony Khan didn't book her well as women's champion at all in late 2023. Then Paige was underused the rest of her time in AEW. And Tony Khan, I feel, fumbled Paige big time. Fumbled Saraya there big time. Now Paige is back in WWE. She hasn't been that bad. But I will say get her away from the Bellas. This Paige and Brie Bella thing is not working. I hope Nikki Bella's back and they turn Bella's heel and get Paige away from them. I'm not a fan of the Bellas on TV at all. They should be off TV completely because they do nothing for the product whatsoever. But please, for the love of God, get Paige away from the Bellas is all I will say. But I could see where Paige is coming from. Her heart wasn't in AEW. And yes, you could tell, especially the way she wrestled, like she didn't want to be there. And again, like I said earlier here in the video, those that are in AEW that are not unhappy, if they don't want to be there, just let them go. And I feel like when Paige was there, maybe before she left AEW, maybe beforehand, she asked for her release and Tony denied it because she was afraid of her going to the WWE or anywhere else, being better off somewhere else. But yeah, you could tell how unhappy Paige was in AEW. And I could see where she's coming from with that because watching her towards the end of her run in AEW, she was very unhappy. And you could tell watching. Just the body language, you could tell. But that was that with Paige. Other news on today's episode. Fallon Henley. There's something on Fallon Henley. Now, she did put out a tweet. It was after Fatal Influence won the women's tag titles in Madison Square Garden this past Saturday on Saturday night's main event. Now, it was a short message it was a short tweet, I should say, Fallon Henley put out on X. Apparently, and you could see it when Fatal Influence walking back up the ramp after winning the titles. Fallon Henley's on the right hand of the screen. This fan touches Fallon on the arm, and Fallon's like, "Don't touch me." And you could see, I think that was when Fallon was like bleeding from the nose. She was like busted open during the match. But apparently after the show, Fallon Henley went on social media on X, and she tweets out, "Don't touch the wrestlers, period." And this isn't the first time this has happened. Apparently, also the moment is the latest in a run of fans crossing the line with the talent. And also says at Clash in Italy, Jey Uso stepped in after a fan seated along the entrance aisle grabbed Roman Reigns' hand and would not let go as Reigns tried walking away. And then at an indie show in Mexico back in March, Nino Hamburguesa elbowed a fan who had allegedly been provoking him. I think this fan even brought a knife, but this guy with the knife got taken down before he could use it. Just sicko fucking people, man. Like, what is with these people? These so-called fans. Like, I tell you, some fans are so fucking entitled. And let me tell you something, you fucking idiots, those that want to call yourselves fans that stalk these wrestlers do not owe you fucking shit. You don't do shit like that. Try and threaten a wrestler or try and touch them or try and bother harass them. They are human beings like all of us. Leave the fucking wrestlers alone. Leave them alone. They're trying to work. They're at work. They're trying to do their job and do it to the best of their ability. Leave them the fuck alone. Seriously. Like, what is with these people that touching wrestlers and following wrestlers at the hotel or the airport? Like, they're doing their job. You need to respect the wrestler's privacy. It's a thing called privacy and respect. These so-called fans have no respect whatsoever, and it's sad. It's really sad. I even remember there was an incident right after WrestleMania, I think it was like CM Punk slapped this phone out of this guy's hand with defending his wife. And Punk did nothing wrong, by the way. And Punk stopped this guy was filming AJ Lee and CM Punk. He was told to stop and he wouldn't stop. And then Punk had to take matters into his own hands and smack this phone right out of this guy's hand. And he did that, did Punk, and rightfully so. I do the same fucking thing. You're told no, stop recording, and you don't listen. No wonder CM Punk slapped the phone out of your hand because you refuse to listen. It's unbelievable to me. Like, what is with these crazies? Some of these people nowadays that are so entitled. They're so fucking entitled. These wrestlers owe them fuck all. They do not owe them a goddamn thing. Nothing. And it's sad that Fallon Henley dealt with this. Then she didn't even have to go on X to report this. Because it's quite pathetic waste of time that some people just don't listen. And Fallon Henley has to come on X and say that. And I feel bad for her. It's like what happened to the respect and privacy and courtesy that these wrestlers deserve? There's no privacy, no etiquette, no respectful etiquette, no courtesy whatsoever. None. Like, everyone just feels so entitled and everyone feels like they're owed everything. And it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. David Hadley, 1391. I do think wrestlers should be a little more open to shaking hands and taking pictures when they're at the arenas, though. Well, it'd be one thing. It's like you unexpectedly see them. That's one thing. But to intentionally follow them to their car, or on the street, or at the hotel, at the airport, especially the airport and the hotel, I mean, that's really not okay. And wrestlers past year have been wrestlers for a long time have been very vocal about it. Please do not follow us at the airport for an autograph. There's a reason why there's meet and greets. If you want an autograph, go to a meet and greet or go to Fanatics Fest or WWE World. We'll sign all the autographs you want there. I mean, pictures one thing, unless a wrestler tells you no. Like, sometimes a photo, they'll say yes. Other times they'll say no. Not always a guaranteed yes. But autographs from a wrestler should always be at a meet and greet or a Fanatics Fest. The airport or the hotel or falling on the street to a wrestler's car is never the time and place to do an autograph. It's not. Maybe a photo, but an autograph, no. Only meet and greet for an autograph. Like, I know ticket prices are expensive for autograph things and Fanatics Fest nowadays, but there's a reason why they have meet and greets. Do all the autographs you want there. To a hotel, following a wrestler to a hotel at a hotel or airport for autograph is not acceptable behavior whatsoever. Totally unacceptable. Then David Hadley says, likewise, there is being courteous to fans as long as they're being courteous. It is like it used to be a thing when wrestlers would sign autographs by the parking lots after or before shows. But nowadays, people are being, with a lot of crazies in the world nowadays. Gotta be so careful. Like, can you blame these wrestlers for, like, they're saying, please don't follow me at the airport, the hotel, don't want to autograph a meet and greet? I mean, maybe back then, but it's like nowadays it's just getting out of fucking hand. And some of these people, like, the people that follow wrestlers at an airport for a autograph, they're not fans. They're fans. They're not real fans. Even happened to Rey Mysterio when he was unmasked a couple years ago, and Rey knew what they were trying to do. They were trying to make money off him. They're not real. They were not real fans of him, and Rey told them no, and rightfully so. Like, they're not real fans. Like, they were hounding him at the airport with a bunch of Funko Pops, or like tracking down his flight or whatnot, tracking when his plane arrives, when he lands. It's very stalking, like, creepy behavior. That's not really okay. And it can make wrestlers nowadays feel very uncomfortable. And it's worse off with the girls. It can get scary with the girls, like, with no privacy for these lady wrestlers. And it can be scary because there's a lot of crazies out there. You just don't know. And you got to be so careful nowadays. Like people are nuts nowadays, you know. But I mean, I see where you're coming from, David Henley, but it's just nowadays just gonna be so careful. I also do think many of the people are trying to get autographs to resell figures. Yeah, like I said, like they follow wrestlers at an airport for an autograph, and they don't keep it for life. They just go online on eBay and sell it for like easy $50 because a lot of these because these people that are fans that follow wrestlers at an airport for an autograph, for a hotel for an autograph, they go online on eBay and sell it because they don't want to work. They don't want to have a real job because they're too lazy to go and apply for a real job. Like CM Punk said in his pipe bomb 15 years ago in June 2011, and he wasn't wrong, and it still rings true to this day. I mean, can't really blame these wrestlers because they're trying to catch their flight. They're at work. They're trying to do what they need to do. Even some instance where some fans find wrestlers at their house, which is even more scary, which is even a lot more scary. And that's even more worse. That's more not okay. At that right, the wrestlers have every right to be nasty with them. And David Hadley says, I personally don't like autographs. They're just something to potentially lose. I'd rather get a pic with them. I agree 100% with you, David. I do. I mean, photo you keep photo, at least it's there forever. Like a photo, like I feel a photo to me is a lot more valuable than it is an autograph. Photo just holds a lot more value than an autograph, to be honest with you. That's how I feel. That's just my opinion. You may think otherwise, but actually, I mean, you may, but some people like autographs, some people like pictures more. I'm more of a photo guy than an autograph guy, but I mean, that's fine. But yeah, my point is, like, stop bothering, harassing these wrestlers, like touching them when it's like touching, harassing them, stop following them at airports and hotels for autograph, especially if these wrestlers tell you no. If they say no, leave it at that and stop bothering them. Walk away and move on with your life. If they tell you no and you continue to ask and they have to repeatedly tell you no, then that's where you draw the line. And then at that point, the wrestlers have every fucking right to be mean assholes to you. And I do the same thing. If someone constantly bothered me, can I get an autograph? Like if I was a wrestler and the fan followed me to my car, ask for an autograph, and I tell them no. They ask, hey, can I get an autograph? No. Can I please? No. Can I please? No. And me being, and then at that point being an asshole to them, I do the same thing because I told you no once. You need to understand the answer no the first time and move on. But when you have to repeat no several times, like that's where the line gets drawn. So again, point is, do not bother these wrestlers at the airport, the hotel for autograph. They're human beings like all of us trying to do their job. Like they're not objects. They're regular, normal human beings like all of us. And there's a thing called privacy with these people, with these wrestlers. Just leave them the fuck alone. They're trying to do their job. If you want an autograph, just go to a meet and greet. Plain and simple. Stop following and bothering these wrestlers at the airport, the hotel, or to the car or on the street, especially if they tell you no. Point blank. Other news. Let me just check out my articles here. Here. We got two more topics to talk about. All right. Here at the channel. We'll leave the big one for last, but we're going to talk about this right now, second to last topic. Sheamus. When is Sheamus expected to be a free agent? Now, I do have a report on that. Let me pull this up. Now, up here. Okay. Now, according to, now this is coming from Fightful. According to Fightful Select, they report that Sheamus remains under contract with WWE. He's gone from the company, but however, he remains with the company. But it's expected he'll become a free agent officially on October 1st, which I believe, looking at my calendar, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that is a Thursday. Yes. October 1st this year falls on a Thursday. So Thursday, October 1st this year, Sheamus officially becomes a free agent. We could very well see him at Wrestle Dream, to be honest with you. But I do expect Sheamus, if he is gone from WWE, I expect the landing spot for Sheamus to be in AEW. And let's get the bar back together, but in AEW. Claudio and Sheamus back together, but in AEW. Get Claudio away from the fucking Death Riders. It's doing nothing for him whatsoever. Nothing. And AEW could use help in the tag division. Let's get the bar back together and have them run the AEW tag division. Let's do that. And now, saving the best for last, let me put up on here. Let me do this. Okay. All right, let me take a real quick drink. And we talk about the grand finale topic of today's episode. All right. Last topic for today's episode. Now, you may ask, Nick Fiore, did you watch WWE Unreal Season 3? I did watch some of it, and I got quite a lot to say on that. And as you see in the thumbnail, the clown faces on Bruce Pritchard and Michael Hayes, man, holy shit. And it just really goes to show you how inept and how stupid the current WWE creative team truly is. My fucking God. So, where do I begin with this shit? Where? Apparently, with WWE Unreal Season 3, apparently it was revealed on there that, you know how Brock Lesnar squashed John Cena at WrestlePalooza? If you're wondering where the idea came from, it's from the same man who pitched for Jey Uso to win the Royal Rumble last year in 2025. Michael P.S. Hayes, or Michael B.S. Hayes, Michael Bullshit Hayes, another Vince McMahon ass kisser, yes man, and Michael P.S. Hayes. Apparently on WWE Unreal Season 3, and by the way, the same man, Michael Hayes, who hates Chelsea Green, who is the reason Toast Green's not getting pushed on SmackDown. Don't fucking at me, and you'll never convince me otherwise, and nothing will change as long as he and Bruce Pritchard are still there. On WWE Unreal Season 3, it was revealed that Michael Hayes was the one who brought up the idea of a returning Brock Lesnar squashing John Cena at WrestlePalooza last year during Cena's retirement tour. How does that make any fucking sense, Michael Hayes? And correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't we see Lesnar squashing and destroying Cena before at SummerSlam in 2014 when John Cena defended the WWE Championship against Lesnar on that show in 2014 at SummerSlam in Los Angeles against Brock Lesnar? Correct me if I'm wrong. Where it was like 16, 17 German suplexes and like 1 or 2 F5s to put Cena away and it was over. And it wasn't even close. Like Lesnar just squashed Cena at that show. Why do that again? That was something in 2014. That was good back in 2014 back then. That doesn't work now in 2026, Michael Hayes. It doesn't. Holy shit. Like, no wonder why that was so fucking bad at WrestlePalooza. Fucking Michael Hayes. I came pitching the idea of Lesnar squashing Cena at WrestlePalooza. We've seen this in 2014, a decade ago. Why do it again with another rehash again? I swear to God, a fucking Vince McMahon rat and Michael Hayes that needs to be exterminated immediately. A second Vince McMahon rat that needs to be exterminated immediately as well. You want to know also? Bruce Pritchard. Apparently on WWE Unreal Season 3, Bruce Pritchard, listen to this. And you're not going to believe this. You know what Trick Williams and Oba Femi are being called up to the main roster in the near future, going into the beginning of the year? Bruce Pritchard says, quote, "We have to be patient, too, as far as when they come up, both Oba Femi and Trick Williams. They're not going to be fucking ready when they come up." What? What? They're not going to be fucking ready when they come up. What the fuck are you talking about, Bruce? What are you talking about? They were ready. Trick and Oba were ready for the main roster before they even got called up to NXT. The fuck are you talking about? They're not going to be ready when they get called up. Like, doesn't that pretty much you bury NXT, Bruce? That you don't give a flying fuck about NXT? And then you watch that when Bruce says that. Bobby Roode's on the left part of the picture screen. He's sitting there like so in such fucking disgust. I mean, do you blame Bobby Roode? A former NXT champion himself, Bobby Roode. Imagine Bruce saying that bullshit and Bobby Roode sitting there in disgust. Holy fuck. How Bruce Pritchard and Michael Hayes still have a job in WWE blows my fucking goddamn mind. Blows my mind. Nothing will change in WWE for the better as long as Vince McMahon's cronies like Bruce Pritchard and Michael Hayes are still there. Anything that Vince worked with in the previous administration before Vince was forced out, they all have to fucking go. Because nothing will change as long as they're there. Nothing will change, especially if Bruce Pritchard and Michael Hayes are still there. You want the company to be better off for it and WWE to be better for the long term and for all the right reasons, you need to exterminate Bruce Pritchard and Michael Hayes because nothing will change as long as Hayes and Bruce are still there in that company in any which way or rotor capacity. They both have to fucking go immediately. They cannot be there. They can't be there at all. They serve no purpose whatsoever. And then you wonder why the product is shit. I mean, now Triple H does get some blame, but he's not mostly to blame. Yes, he's the head of creative, and he gives the yes or no. And he's played it safe the past year or so. And Triple H has not been doing a good job the past year or so. Triple H does get some blame. I'm not going to sit here and not blame Triple H because he does deserve blame as well. But he doesn't get most of the blame. Bruce Pritchard and Michael Hayes still have that Vinceisms in them. And as long as they're there in that company in WWE in any which kind of way, nothing will change for the better. And nothing will get better at all in the company and the product overall. As long as Bruce still has a job, and as long as Hayes still has a job in that company in any which type or kind of way, they both gotta fucking go. Michael Hayes and Bruce Pritchard have to fucking go. They have to be exterminated. Two Vince McMahon rats. And like Adam Carl would say, it's as if Triple H is working with rats. Just dangerous fucking rats. And Bruce Pritchard and Michael Hayes. Yeah. And you wonder why the product is shit. And you wonder why the creative in WWE currently fucking blows. Look at Bruce Pritchard and Michael Hayes. You'll see why. And nothing will change. And again, as long as Bruce Pritchard and Michael Hayes are still there, then it's as if Vince McMahon's still running the company, even though Vince McMahon's not there anymore. Seriously. You want the company to be better off for it and the company to actually change for the better legitimately, you have to remove Bruce Pritchard and Michael Hayes. Road Dogg, though he quit, WWE Unreal Season 2, Road Dogg was out. I don't know if this is going to mean Bruce and Hayes are out, but it just shows how idiotic Hayes and Bruce both are. Awful. And we got David here in the chat. Too many differing ideologies in WWE. Pritchard and Hayes have something to offer, but they may be out of touch in 2026. I agree 1,000% they're out of touch, and they are. They both got to go. Hayes and Bruce both have to fucking go. Also, don't believe Triple H is as good as many of us believe. Well, he's not perfect, but it doesn't make it any better that there's Vince Rat still under his administration. Like, you need to get rid of Bruce and Hayes and get somebody else in there that is not like Bruce and Hayes, that has some fresh ideas, that's in tune with today's wrestling. Bruce and Hayes still live in the 80s and 90s. What happened back then isn't going to work now in 2026. It's not. You need new people in there that get wrestling, know wrestling, and have fresh ideas to make the product better. That's never going to happen with Bruce Pritchard and Michael Hayes there. It's not. Because they have only the interest of Vince McMahon. They don't have the best interest of the company at heart whatsoever. And as long as Bruce and Hayes are there, nothing will fucking change. Triple H is not perfect. Triple H the past year or so has not been doing a good job, but it doesn't help any better, do any better favors whatsoever with Bruce and Hayes still there. And they have to fucking be shown the door. They can't be there, and they can't stay there. They can't. Bruce Pritchard and Michael Hayes have to be fired, and the sooner they're gone, the better. Then David in the chat. The guy they need is right under their nose, but wants no part of creative, and they don't trust him in creative for some reason. Paul Heyman. Well, I don't know about that, but Heyman, I would say, is a good choice. I agree with you, David. I mean, Heyman gets wrestling. You know, want to know another guy that gets it besides Paul Heyman? The Undertaker does AAA. Now, I don't know if Undertaker would really want that job, but he's doing a good job with AAA, though. It's something to think about. And it's been doing better than the main roster, believe it or not. I mean, hell, Undertaker brought Damian Priest down to AAA to reinvent himself because he's not doing jack shit on SmackDown. It's just something to think about. But get Paul Heyman in there, get Undertaker in there, get AJ Styles in there. When CM Punk nears the end of his career, get CM Punk in there, at least on NXT, something like that. But any of the old guard, any of the Vince administration people need to go. And as long as they're there, nothing's going to fucking change in that company whatsoever. Any Vince rats that's still in the company, anything that Vince worked with has to be fucking taken out. Bruce Pritchard, Michael Hayes, get them the fuck out. And that is that for episode 34 for Forbidden Podcast. No Adam Carl here, like I said. He'll be back next week. Has family reasons or whatnot. He'll be back next week for episode 35 to close out the month of July strong. So, all that being said, hit that like on the video. Subscribe to FioriousNation if you've not done so yet. Helps on the YouTube algorithm, helps supporting the channel. Hit that bell for all notifications as well once you do subscribe to FioriousNation as well. And go follow me on X at FiorioNick579. You don't see it on the bottom left-hand screen, but it's at FiorioNick579 over on X or Twitter. Facebook at Nicholas_Fiore, Fiore31. Instagram at NicholasFiore2014. And TikTok at FioriousNation. Thank you guys so much for joining me. You guys rock. David Hadley, Scripps, Wesley, Mitch, Scripps, you guys are fucking awesome. And enjoy the rest of your Friday, guys. Where I'm at in Poughkeepsie, New York, nice day out. Gonna go out for a nice walk or jog, something along those lines. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Hope you guys enjoy the weather. Hope it's good weather where you guys are at, wherever you're watching. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Adam Carl and I will see you next week. This time, myself and Adam Carl for next week. Episode 35 of Forbidden Podcast next week's on Thursday/Friday. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. See you next week on Thursday or Friday of next week on next Thursday/Friday of next week for episode 35. See you next week for episode 35. Peace out.